checking out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day.
And good Friday morning to you. Things are funky this morning, internet-wise. Hopefully we're good to go. Good morning. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room, also on the Professional Door text line.
He's got the scoop.
Whatever might be on your mind.
Calling plays like a coach.
Are we good? Feels a little the camera went black. We had a little bit of a pause. I may have to reboot. That might be the best thing to do. We'll see here. Y'all let me know. Good morning, Prometheus. All right, let's hear the music. I'm not in the mood for the music this morning. How's everybody doing? Finishing up the week. We got Will Stewart from Tech Sideline. We'll talk about his $75 million donation yesterday going to Virginia Tech. We'll see how much of it ends up distributed amongst athletics. I know it's supposed to be directed toward that the honors school as well. So whether we get honest numbers, I don't know, but a big announcement for Tech as things continue to roll in the right direction for them. Mike Ashley returns for open mic, and then we have Jen, the Gamecocker. So y'all need to let me know here who we have. Prometheus, you're here. It just looks like a slow day starting out in chat. Where is everybody? Are we good to go, Prometheus? Can you see me okay? Are we good? Things very strange in the studio. Things are kind of blinking and being weird. Matter of fact, I think I'm just going to go ahead and reboot everything. You say I'm good? Okay. How's your wife doing? I hope she's doing okay. Still. All right, I'll try to ride it out, man, and we'll see. Very strange. Morris, you're not here yet, but thank you. Morris sent a nice little honeymoon gift yesterday. That was very nice of you. Thank you. That will definitely help with a dinner or two. Thank you. You didn't have to do that, Morris. Our wordsmith in the mornings. Yes, tomorrow is marriage day for yours truly. Good morning, Brian. How are you? All right. Well, now we have people. I'll just ride this thing out here. Y'all let me know if we start to have any blips and I'll reboot. It was very strange. I've been working on it. That's why I was a little late getting on. I've been trying to the reboot takes a little while, so that's why I didn't want to reboot the whole studio. So I've been trying to eliminate things and clean out things. But as long as you can see me, we're good. We'll just roll with it. We'll see what happens when I try to get Will on. That might be when things go awry a little bit. So we'll see. I want to thank all of our sponsors. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply since 1997. He is James Lawson, 5403-818011. They're located over on 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Manufactured home parts, windows, plumbing supplies, doors, all those things. We're going to have our bash, by the way, at the NRB Super Bowl here. We don't have a date yet. I know it's annoying. I don't want to give a date and then have to say I can't do that date. So we're waiting. And we also need to make sure we get people online. 382-5525 if you're in town. Midnight Madness is really cool. They turn all the lights off, glow-in-the-dark bowling. It's a lot of fun. They have discounts on food, beverages. Give Terry Stike a call. And y'all have a great weekend over there. Yeah, I don't recall a time other than when, I don't bowl very well. But I don't think I've ever had a time where I've walked out of the bowling alley and went, boy, that wasn't fun. Sundown Electric, the Smith Brothers down in Elliston, excellent reputation, long list of satisfied clients, superior craftsmanship, attention to detail, clear communication, very honest, great business, and we appreciate their support. Our T-shirts are $20. If you want them, let me know. Top Shelf Apparel, that's Brandon up in Pulaski, made some wonderful shirts now that we're in the summertime months. I think you need one or two. ReadySetFund.com, that's how your organization can earn some money. Bob Christ, CRIST11 at Gmail. Send him an email, ask more questions. You may look around and see that your church or your, whatever it is, your men's group, your women's group needs some things, and you can sign up and talk to Bob about it. Professional Door Incorporated, residential commercial garage doors. They're getting ready in July to open up year 39, and we're going to have some really cool things to talk about there. Thanks to Travis Williams, sponsor of our always busy text line. National Bank member FDIC is my exclusive banking partner of this program. They made my financing so easy. Lara Ramsey has seamlessly stepped into the president's role, and that place is rolling. Thanks, Lara. Thanks, everybody at National Bank. The attorney Ryan Pry down in Radford, trusted estate planning, and the Rams won the final game. Sorry, Wayne, if you're here. The Browns lost. Well, you're used to it. You're used to it. The Rams winning the trade 37-13. Wow. Sorry, man. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. Charles Lee, you talk about attention to detail now. You talk about making sure they do everything the right way. They are the absolute best. Give them a call today. Make sure your air units are ready to go. Efficient, saving you money. No hassles from those guys. They are terrific. We present each and every day, speaking of terrific, by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. I can't say enough about the things that they are doing here in Pulaski County and throughout our community. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet and to Tim Miller and Mark Hundley. Make sure you go see him. 155 Walters Drive in Christiansburg. Go get a consultation. Go let him check you out. Let him show you the machines. And I'm telling you, your life. Ask Travis at Professional Door, man. He was having some back issues and some body things, and now I saw Travis earlier this week. Man, he looks like he can go out and line up for Joel Hicks tomorrow. And Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio, thanks to Jason Green, 540-200-8294. Taking care of our business here a little bit early. Good stuff. Good morning, Forks. Good morning. Sorry. Wickcaster? Good morning. Welcome. Please subscribe. We're a sports show here in Southwest Central Virginia, regionally, but we're very, very, very welcoming. So thank you. Thanks for finding us. Spread the word. From the heavens above, all of us, BDS tears, pray that God shines his light upon Rick and Janet graciously, radiantly, beautifully, and gives you both peace for the rest of your lives. Amen. Wow. Thank you, Morris. It means a lot. And thank you again. I know, you probably didn't want me to single you out, but that was very nice what you did yesterday. Very, very nice. Very much appreciated. And that's very nice. Very poignant. Yeah, tomorrow's the day. Is it wrong that I've been asked twice exactly what time the wedding is, and I don't know? I just know it's here in the backyard. She loves the backyard. Janet loves the backyard. So it's 4:30, something like that. It's like if I'm the second game of the NFL doubleheader. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I know I can't be late because I'm already here. And that's the big part of this whole thing. Make sure I can just, oh, yeah, there's people out there. I guess I better go get my suit on. Four or 30. You know, it might run. You have to wait. You know how you have to wait sometimes for the kickoff of game 2 of a doubleheader? Like college football, you know, they do this a lot, especially dreaded ESPN. They'll hold a kickoff time up. Pick a number. Yeah. Well, maybe the wedding before me will cause a slight delay. But yeah, we're doing it right out here. You don't know what that means. It's my backyard, but that's where we're doing it tomorrow. Thanks to everybody who's reached out on the Professional Door text line. Got some very nice messages throughout the week. And thank you, Morris. That'll make a dinner or two taste a lot better. Even though we're like minimizing this thing, it's each of our second marriages, you know, keeping it is, it's still, you look around, you look at the cost, then you're just like, wow, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll talk a lot with Will. I want to wait till we get Will on here, obviously, to talk more about the big gift. Now, we talked about it. It wasn't a real surprise. I was kind of told that amount, $75 million donation. We'll see how much of it ends up in athletics. You know, people immediately assume that all this is going to go to what they want it to go to. That's not the way it reads to me. It'll go to athletics, but it'll go to other ventures as well. Not just hokey ventures, but we'll talk to Will about it. He'll break it down better than I ever could. So it's good. It's good stuff. And, you know, it wasn't a surprise. It had kind of been rumored for a few weeks. And then when they announced the new structure, boom, here it comes. So it's good news. It's all good news. And these gifts are now being announced on the cusp of Congress and legislation. Maybe if any sanity ever develops, I hope. Tennessee announced yesterday got a direct 130, if I'm not mistaken, they got a direct $130 million gift from an alum who's an NFL owner directly toward football. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. So, yeah, anyway. What is the wedding song? Marry Me by Train or Something Dark by Dave Matthews? I don't know, but we've got a really at our church here in Reiner, there's a young couple, a young pastor who's going to take the church over, and his wife, and they are so musically inclined, and she plays the violin. She's a classically trained violinist, and she's coming tomorrow to kind of provide and at the end of the ceremony, since everyone knows that my favorite band is Queen, she is going to play Another One Bites the Dust on the violin. How about that? I mean, if you can't have fun with it, this is people have come up to me where, hey, you getting nervous? You're getting emotional? No, I mean, it's not supposed to be a sad time. It's supposed to be fun. It's your wedding. It's not supposed to be like a reminisce and get all nostalgic. This is supposed to be fun. I'm a little further along in my lifespan than I was the first time. So yeah, Nick Saban just said the teams with the most expensive lineups will be the same teams competing for championships. As if that's ever changed, right, Prometheus? That's exactly, and that's a lot of the criticism that is being, levied at him right now is he's saying things that he's just, like I said yesterday, it's a circular conversation. It doesn't, nothing he said. That's what, see, this is what I'm saying. He had no self-awareness. It's like he's sitting there like, I'm Nick Saban. And since I'm saying this, well, it's real. And you may not have considered this because you're just fans or you're just people that cover or work in college athletics. Let me tell you how it is. He didn't bring any new information to any of this. Exactly. I mean, I'm with you. It's just like, yeah. And you know what? It's always been that way. And you know what? He was part of the arms race before it became an official arms race. And that's my whole point too. I see all these people. It's crazy, man. I talked about this yesterday. The people trying to defend and then deny that Alabama ever did these things. Exactly. The same 10 teams have been competing. Exactly. Indiana is an outlier. It's an outlier. It's an anomaly. We're going to find out if it's going to be sustained this year. I have a hunch they're going to fall back. I just don't think they have. They are going to have talent, but they don't have Fernando Mendoza. You do, Prometheus, with your organization. Yeah, and I hope every day you wake up and realize, you know what? He may not. Maybe it's Kirk Cousins early. Who knows? But we got our guy. So, and I went back and I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I went back and I watched clips. I'm just sitting there. I can't even hardly listen to it. It's just, and he starts. He just all he did was harp on the players getting paid. That's all he did. Didn't mention coaches. He talked about the burden of the universities when it wasn't necessarily on the burden of the universities. Obviously he didn't have a problem with it. But unless you just woke up on a different planet and you come down and you don't understand anything about how college athletics has worked for 80 years, go read the Junction Boys. Go read the architect of the Alabama Mafia, Paul Bear Bryant. Right? Go read it. Texas A&M, he started the Dust Cropper Money Drop. And then, of course, he organized it when he got to Tuscaloosa. And it built from there. And Nick Saban, when he was wooed from LSU to the Dolphins to Alabama, whatever you want to look at the trajectory of his career, he knew all about you. Who do you think he met with when he was down there? You think he just met with administrators from the school and from the athletics department? You don't think maybe he was having a dinner or two with some of those folks, explaining how it worked? I just hate that all this goes on and people just try. It's just like all the dirtiness and Hollywood and politics and all these things, and people want to deny when people with just 2 eyes and ears know what's going on. No, nobody's saying it's just Alabama. I think people try to, or you think Alabama's the only ones who had the or brown bagging it? No, nobody ever said that. Nobody ever even implied that. But you're implying, those of you that are trying to defend Saban, you're implying that it didn't happen as frequently and in the large amounts that you're saying. Where's Alabama's recruiting this year? I don't even know. I don't keep up with it. Somebody let me know. Where are they ranked this year? In the 247 or whatever the hell it is y'all want to use as your recruiting rankings. We know where Tech is, right? We know where certain programs are. Where's like Alabama? under Kalen DeBoer. You know, the guy they just gave $91 million to. That didn't come up. Yeah, he didn't bring that up. Yep. Well, we'll see about Tech. You know, we'll see. They've got momentum. They've got things going in their favor. Now you got to coach them. Now you've got to develop them. Talent level is going to be up this year. I hope all of you are right. I hope this recruiting class, and I hope they get time to come here and develop, and they want to be here. I know a lot of people are just assuming this is going to be sunshine and roses for all these guys. They still have another year of high school to play. This business is as cutthroat as it's ever been. It's not recruiting anymore. It's going out and trying to convince guys to say, okay, you're getting this. Well, we can probably give you this. You're having offers being made that are then pulled back. I'm not saying Tech's going to be there. So Alabama's number 2 right now in 26. Okay. Now that, and I wonder, I don't know what their budget, I haven't heard. I'm guessing they're going to be one of those, what, $40 to $60 million rosters, right? And it's not surprising to see now the Mafia, they don't have to act like they used to have to do. So my point about that whole thing is it really doesn't matter the coach. They've had the means there for a long, long, long time. Sure, guys wanted to go and play for Nick Saban who knew how to turn out NFL guys. Sure, he wanted to be part of a winning culture. At least you hope that all those 5-star classes, all those guys wanted to be part of a winning culture, right? Not just going there for the big bag that they were getting and not having to report it because it was always cash and it was under the table and boom, boom, boom. Look, all I know is coaches always told me, you know how you know who's doing it the most back in that day? Look at what the kind of cars the players are driving. What kind of clothes are they wearing? What kind of housing do they have? In other words, this was going on for decades across the country. And the athletes, just like they are now, being young men, young people, they don't necessarily understand how to handle that kind of money. So what are they out there doing? They're doing what any of us would have done, especially at that age. Spend it. They're not necessarily being subtle about it. Hey, look, aren't you the guy that just started school last week? Yeah. Wow, you've got a 3-bedroom townhouse? Where'd you get that Maserati? Is that a 2020 SUV branded? You know. Wow. You got regular student body driving a Vega from 1978. Living in a dorm where it's way too hot. Yeah. Remember Mike Vick driving an Escalade while he was at Tech? Yeah. Yeah, I was working at Tech during the whole Mike Vick era. And it wasn't a secret, everybody. Let's just say that. It wasn't something that, it wasn't something that anybody really thought about. That's what it was. That's what it was. Every place in the country was doing it. You know what? I don't even fall on the side of it being wrong. Was it Marcus? Well, Mike had some stuff too. I know that. But the whole family, I guess. I don't know. We have to ask Dwight. But you see, now you look back on it historically. Remember how every time the NCAA would have these investigations, they would try to portray these schools in the worst light possible, demonize the coaches, then the universities who probably knew what was going on, would always try to bring the coach out and make them the scapegoat. Oh, this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. And so we would just eat it up. Wow, how dirty is that coach? I can't believe he'd break the rules. Right? I mean, we didn't know better. That's the way it was reported. And then you realize, now that you get a little educated, you do a little reading, you talk to enough people that were around then, you know this was business. As a matter of fact, it's what led up to, here we go, blue chips even being made. It was business. All those coaches they consulted with knew firsthand. They played roles in that movie because they were part of it. They were exposing it, even though at that time it was still illegal. But that's how business was done. That's how you did the things that were happening in college sports. It was an arms race. So now you look back and you hear about, oh man, this coach was such a great recruiter. Well, this coach was, probably a good recruiter, but he had some ammunition he was taking with him. Why do you think they had all these meetings in houses? I don't know how much of that still goes on. Now you have the kids coming to campus. They come to camps. They come to special weekends. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you had a lot of visits into homes. We know parents got offered jobs, got offered to be relocated. Every story out of Blue Chips, everything that the guys were asking for were things that were actually told to the producers and the directors, the kind of things that were offered. I'm not saying it was good or bad. I'm just saying everybody was doing it. That's why coaches most of the time did not turn themselves in. They didn't go around worrying about what somebody else was doing. Now, sometimes they did, but most of the time they just kind of let it go because they knew they had to do the similar type of thing to get their roster in order. Frank Beamer did it. Okay. George Welsh did it. Fill-in coach. Now, we'll not know the degrees to which it happened. We don't know. We don't know. But the biggest problem I have, coaches have maximized their value, going back to the whole Saban thing. Not a word is said. Players now are maximizing their value, and it's a major, major problem. And the hypocrisy of it is not going unnoticed by the people who listened to Saban this past week. Exactly, Prometheus. I want people to know I'm not judging that era. I mean, in a way, I understand that. I understand it. But if you don't think it's going on, again, this goes back to what I talked about a day or two ago. People don't want truth. They don't want the truth. That's why media now is thriving, because they don't have to worry about truth anymore. Factual reporting, access media, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. They will say whatever they want to feed their drones. They don't care. They know they have a following. Whatever group you're talking about on the political side, on the major news side, whatever talking point's going to feed their criteria. They know that people are just going to, they're correct. I don't like that person either, so they have to be right. I won't do any actual fact checking. And that's what happens, I think, in sports media as much as anything else. People don't want to be told the truth. They don't want to know how things really are, I guess. I don't know. It's not a positive trend, I'm telling you that. It's not a positive trend. It goes back, and I'm going to tie this into my meeting with James Franklin last Thursday when we did our little meet the town session, meet the business, we're up on stage. And I think what he said is kind of what I'm talking about here. But he said, people, he goes, I know a lot of people I've already rubbed the wrong way. here. But he goes, people don't, I can't remember how he said, I don't want to misquote him, but coach, if you get this, know that I'm trying to give you the best representation I can. He said something like, the truth around here wasn't well accepted when I would show them what I saw when I got here. Does that make sense? Like, and Bud Foster told the story at the Blacksburg Country Club. First week, Franklin's in his office looking around. He goes, Coach Foster, can you come down here? And he and Bud walk out. I don't know where they went, down in the tunnel looking around. And he's pointing out things that just weren't, in his mind, acceptable. I mentioned that he's continuing to stay on people. You promised this. You said this. How are we doing on this? And he mentioned that. He has self-awareness about the things that he's pushing and demanding because he made the point. And the more I've thought about it, I'm thinking he understands what I'm talking about here too. People don't want to hear inconvenient truths or something that doesn't fit their routine or their status quo. Well, he has come into Blacksburg immediately, and he has changed the status quo. He will not come from a blue blood like Penn State, where everything is exceptional to no end. And it's been a number of years since I was there, and we went touring around. And that was then. And you just walk around that place and you can't believe. And that was facilities, and those things are probably outdated now. And he lived it. He lived it up until last year. You didn't have Penn State having to announce all these big gifts and all these things. I saw a lot of Tech fans saying, well, the largest reported gift for Penn State's $50 million. James Franklin's already got 70. People are just, in other words, they didn't have to rely on Tech. This is new to Tech. So obviously they're going to sit here and they're going to make sure, boom, we're going to get this thing out there. We're creating this because you know why? It's being changed by James Franklin. That's why they are evolving into this new era that other schools had gotten ahead of them on. And now it's like, oh yeah, football is important here. So he mentioned inconvenient truths. I don't know if he used that exact term, but that's what he was talking about. So he's going to be a steward of all these things going forward. And I think people just don't, these Alabama fans I see, oh, there's no proof Nick Saban did. Just stop. Stop. It's fine. Wayne from Ohio. As a kid I knew in high school got a car from UT in monetary considerations. That was back in 88. I knew, the first time I guess it happened, let's see. I'll tell you one, you know what? It's been so long ago I don't care. I was calling Radford High School football. And inevitably, in the postseason, we, being the Bobcats, would have to play Phil Robbins and the Powell Valley Vikings. And they had Thomas and Julius Jones. Thomas, of course, went to UVA. He was first. Terrific player. Played in the league. And the first time, I guess, here I am just out of college, getting into broadcasting. And I remember some of the chatter. We were down in coal mining country, down in Big Stone Gap for a playoff game against Thomas Jones. The state quarters or semis, one of the two. And I just remember being down the field, I'd like to go down and I'd already done the interview with Coach Lindenberg, but I'd like to kind of just see him. And we had a little routine, and he said, make sure you come down, see me before every kickoff. And it meant a lot to me. And it wouldn't last long. Could be just like a high five, little handshake. And I was down the field. I just remember hearing Powell Valley coaches talking about Thomas Jones. And I remember there was a dad of another player, another very good player. They had all-state players everywhere. That was a machine. Anybody who follows high school football in this area, or in this Commonwealth, what Coach Robbins, God rest his soul, we just lost him a few months ago. Funny dude, great man. I had a lot of fun with Coach Robbins interviewing him. And I remember, now you piece things together. I remember being down the field, right there in Big Stone Gap, 3 or 4 gentlemen talking. Where's Thomas going? Well, so-and-so's offered him this. He's got a house waiting for him here. I don't know how much they offered. UVA, I heard this. UVA has made the highest offer. And this is mid-90s. I'm not, in my mind, I got the broadcast coming up. It's a big game. I really want Radford to win. We didn't, but I really want Radford to win. I'm not thinking about that. Now I think about that. Oh, at the time I'm thinking, offer, academic offer, scholarship offers, good. I'm not thinking, but now I know what they meant. And then Julius came, went to Notre Dame. Julius was a better football player than Thomas. Julius Jones, most dynamic high school football player at that time I had seen up close calling games. He was, he played in the NFL. Everybody knows Julius Thomas and Julius Jones. And it was the same deal. They didn't try to hide it as much around Julius. Notre Dame came strong after him. And Notre Dame didn't come strong after him just because, hey, we're Notre Dame and you're going to come here. Now, you got to get him out. He was a real homebody. He loved this area, being in where he was down there in far southwest Virginia. He was not worried about, and then Notre Dame got him to go there. How do you think they pulled him out? Tech was all over him. Virginia was all over him. North Carolina, everybody in the ACC, Miami, you name it. I mean, he took the highest offer. Let's just say it the way it is. Come on. It's fine. So what I'm saying is this goes all the way back to my history. You're looking at 30 some years ago, 35 years ago. So let's just lose all this pretend, like Prometheus said, naivete. Let's just lose all this pretend shock that, wow, really? This was going on? Yeah. Go read the Junction Boys. Read the chapter on John David Crow, who was a terrific NFL player. Wayne says it's all about academics at UVA and Notre Dame. That's all we've heard in the 90s, Rick. Come on. That could never. Yeah, that's right. Thomas went to UVA strictly from Big Stone Gap to UVA. Now, he was a smart kid, but yeah, he did that strictly because of academics, Wayne. You're right. I'm going to go let Creed in. He looks a little disheveled. He's got grass all over him. Yeah, I mean, hang on. Come on, buddy. Come on. What the hell happened? You look terrible. Dude, you really need to go get cleaned up. You look horrible. Where were you at? You at the kiddie club all night? What's going on? Yeah. He's been out all night. It was colder last night. Woke up this morning in the house. It was 64 degrees. Feels great though outside. Man, I'm loving this weather. This weather is just. Hope it doesn't rain tomorrow. Is it going to rain on my wedding day? What we got going on? Sunny today, cloudy tomorrow. Oh boy. Really? Guess I should have checked that before. I worked parking at Tech in 94. DeShazo was cruising on campus in a fully loaded 4Runner at a local dealership. Yeah, right. And that was NIL, right? That was more of a proper identification of NIL than this. We keep using NIL. Thank goodness I'm seeing people say what I've been saying now for 6-8 months. Why do we continue to use NIL when it's has nothing to do with name, image, and likeness? Pre-NIL doing. See, Wayne, you just did it. It was kind of like that girl you dated in high school and found out this ain't her first. Yeah. Boy, she really likes me for me. Yeah. Oh, I could tell a story. We'll save that for Big Dog Pop, which, by the way, also debuts this month when I get back. It's gonna debut the week I get back from my honeymoon. So the week of the 15th, we're going to debut Big Dog Pop here on the channel. That's true, Wayne. That's true. Well. Her name was Rhonda. That's all I'll say. So, gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful. See, Wayne, you almost got me into this thing, man. So, everybody knew I grew up a massive UCLA fan. It was the first exposure I had to personal college sports. The 76 Rose Bowl went out my uncle's wedding. We flew out there. I'm just a little punk. I don't know what's going on, you know. And I'm sitting there in the Rose Bowl watching college football. Amazing experience. I've shown you the programs. I don't know where they. And then I saw my first college basketball game, right? So John Wooden's the greatest basketball coach of all time. There's not any, you can throw anybody in there you want. It doesn't matter. He won 10 titles in 12 years. Everybody runs everything. Every coach will I ask coaches, I say, how much of UCLA's stuff is run? Oh, you mean today's college basketball? Ask Mike Krzyzewski. The whole Duke offense, everything they did with their pressure was Coach Wooden. He said, oh, about 90%. He's like Bill Walsh. He revolutionized the games forever. Well, Sam Gilbert was a guy who was a big booster out in Los Angeles, massive millionaire. And he wasn't too shy about knowing how friendly he got with UCLA basketball and with USC football. I think he got degrees at both places. So he had an equal affinity, and he and Coach Wooden developed a relationship. And look, every school like that at the time, whether you're in big-time basketball schools, Carolina, Kentucky, whoever you're talking about coming through at that time, Louisville, I mean, whatever it was, they all had people like that in place. It was almost like a way of life. And people have tried to discredit Coach Wooden and Sam Gilbert, who he would talk about because he had all these advantages. And he did. He did. He was out in L.A. He was winning. He got Lou Alcindor. I think that was pre-Gilbert. I think the Gilbert stuff kind of started in the 70s. But what I'm saying is a lot of times this was happening without announcement in the communities, and people didn't care because they just knew it was going on. All right, TP, we'll do, man. We'll do. We'll do. Thanks, brother. So what I'm saying is Sam Gilbert's tied to Coach Wood, and people who want to discredit Coach Wood, you can read up all this stuff. But he did the same thing with John Robertson, with USC football. You can go through every era, everybody who was really good had somebody, and he wasn't necessarily giving large sums, but he would give extra, whatever it might have been. You can go back and read what it was at the time in the 70s and in the 80s and so forth. But what I'm saying is this thing traces all the way back. There's nobody who is sparkling clean. Nobody. And where we are now is the reason it's been so implemented as quickly as it has is because it's the way of life. It's always been happening, not to these levels. And this is where the whole lack of leadership's let it get out of control. North Cross came up in Roanoke, poaching high school players with gifts. I know this for a fact. Yeah, I'm with you. 100%. 100%. Yeah, Maurice Claret. Yeah, just got a text. Yeah. Yeah, cars were one of the big things, weren't they? Yeah, vehicles were one of the big things. Absolutely. Like gambling, it's going on in every locker room to an extent. Same things, people are naive to it. Yeah. And I think that's still not being talked about enough. It's not being attacked enough because of all the haves and certain, even high school players that are making good money. There are a lot not making nearly as much and are going to feel like, how do I try to make that up? And it's just so easy. I mean, I think Brent Sorsby's in fantasy world if he thinks he's ever going to be reinstated. The more you read about what he was doing as a freshman in Indiana, and that quote, 100 bets before I rolled out of bed in the morning. I mean, I don't know why you would say, okay, that guy needs to be reinstated. How could you ever trust him in a huddle again? NFL's not going to touch that kid. The betting, as much as we have all this going on and it's bad, and I know if they don't get the money thing solved for universities, forget athletic departments. Universities don't exist to serve the athletic department. It goes the other way around. So the universities are going to survive first and foremost for their own business model. We live in the sports world, so we look at it from that perspective. We get excited. We see the 75 million. Not all of it is going to go to sports. It's not. You saw how it's laid out with the honors courses and so forth. We don't get specific details. And that has to be fixed. But this gambling thing is just starting. And we said this, right? We've said this the last several months. We said there's going to be bigger stories. More's going to come out. And what happens a couple months later? Here's this thing, Sorsby. And the reason it's so big is because Texas Tech has not been shy at all about whatever sport. By the way, maybe they got some karma last night, right? Texas won the softball national championship. Texas Tech, every program, they bragged about how much money they had spent. Softball, they said, we've spent a record number. Nobody's doing what we're doing. Well, they lost. But they spent all this money on Sorsby. $6 million is the rumor. Didn't recruit anybody else. I'm sorry. Didn't go out and try to spend any money for anybody else. And now they're hurting at quarterback. This is a team who made the playoff last year. So these things are real. And that's pretty big. It might not have been a name you knew about. It might not be like a Heisman Trophy candidate or a nationally known top. It may not be a Manning name attached to it, but we said that this thing was going to hit pretty heavily with a major, major scandal. And there went your scandal right there. And this thing's got legs, and it's going to continue for a long, long, long time. He's going to keep fighting this after he got turned down on his reinstatement. There's a lot of people who think he's going to win. I don't know how he wins this. He's admitted to what he did. And if he's allowed back in, what is that going to say? I mean, wasn't all this common sense when the NCAA and university went to business with casinos and gambling sites? Wasn't that pretty much – didn't didn't that serve as an admission that we don't care about any of the ground rules anymore? Who's going to give us the most money of sponsorship? Where can we make a nice little boon? ESPN, they still don't get criticized enough for trying to create their own betting service during all this. That didn't last very long. It finally came to a head when it was showing the NBA gambling situation and they were running ESPN bet ads underneath the scroll. Notice how quickly that ended. It was like 2 weeks later, they announced that ESPN bet was no longer a thing. Wayne says, I'm saving to give $75 to Tech, not going to be anonymous announcement as to what's going toward. Shoelaces, perhaps, for the volleyball team. Maybe for one shoe of a pair of shoes, you can get laces for $75. Maybe. Can you imagine being able just to roll out of bed and go, I think today's the day I'm going to make that $75 million gift official? How much money did we make this past month? Oh, well, we'll still have some more left over. Here you go. Oh, hang on. It'll be one hell of a tax write-off, isn't it? But anyway, the Saban thing continues to get legs. He has his defenders, his staunch defenders. He's got a lot of critics. And I think the hypocrisy of the things he was saying, I get maybe it's ego. Maybe he just feels like he's beyond. Maybe he's untouchable. I don't know. But when coaches are focusing just on the players' salaries in this, it is ridiculous. Nobody's saying it's not ridiculous. But when that's all you're focused on and thinking that's the only burden, when you got to look at what coaches are making, these buyouts, look at the buyouts. We talked about this throughout this last coaching cycle. When all these big-time jobs were opening, some jobs didn't open because of the buyout alone being way too high. Florida State, Maryland, the two that come to mind, right? Florida State basically admitted, look, Mike Norvell's going to get another year because we can't pay the whatever it was. I can't remember, 11 million, 9 to 11 million. Same thing with Loxley at Maryland. I mean, he was fired. Remember that? It was being reported. Then they met over the weekend. And, oh, by the way, we're going to keep him. We couldn't make the numbers line up because of the buyout, so he gets another year. He gets one more year. One more year. But it's a good discussion. Good discussion. All right. We always have a good discussion when this next gentleman joins us. He's Will Stewart, owner, proprietor, all-around good dude from Texas. You're not the guy the other night at the bar. Oh, there he is.
Never gets old. So I went to see my first movie in a while the other night.
Yeah.
I went to see Obsession. You probably don't go to see any movies, do you?
No, it's been a long time, man. It's been a while. I've heard that's one of those YouTube creator movies.
Yeah, looked it up. The budget on it was $750,000, and the thing's brought in like 80 or 90 million at the box.
Yeah, people love it. Did you like it? People love it.
Oh, I loved it. So it's what a world we live in, where Hollywood's going to YouTube to get movies that they can put in theaters.
We're next, baby. Will Stewart, Rick Watson, executive producers.
Yeah, it's like a monkey's paw kind of thing, where there's this guy and he's pining over this girl, and he gets this thing that you make a wish and you break it, and he makes a wish and breaks it, and his wish is that she would love him more than anybody else in the world, and he gets his wish.
He gets his wish.
hence the title Obsession. And the girl who played the lead character, can't remember the actress's name. I've never heard of her before. She crushed it. She is phenomenal. And it's so here's, it's a horror movie, and I'm not a big jump scare horror movie kind of guy.
Me either. Yeah.
Give me the creepy stuff. And there were several scenes in this movie that were just creepy. Like I'm there in the third row all by myself, because that's how movie theaters work these days. And I'm all laid back, and when these scenes happen, I swear the chills were through my whole body, and I was just like,
I want to see it. And Backrooms is another one right now. Those are the top 2 movies in the country. That shows you how bad Disney's destroyed Star Wars, that its movie is third. It can't even beat out 2 independent YouTube creations. It's great. It's great.
I used to watch this show on Motor Trend TV. I don't even remember the name of it now. And I could tell that it had started as a YouTube show. A couple guys just driving cars and talking about them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this smells like a YouTube production. And I don't know. I can't remember if I ever watched the credits to try to figure it out. But I was like, yeah, this used to be on YouTube, and Motor Trend TV is like, hey, you guys want to do this on television now? And they were like, sure. So.
That's great, though. That's great. I do want to see that. I've heard great things about both of those movies, so I would like to see them.
Yeah, Backrooms is next. It's Backrooms with an S.
Let me see. Let me double check that. I just looked it up. Yes, Backrooms, and it's actually number 1 in the country right now. Backrooms is number 1, getting rave reviews, and people are loving it. So, well,
it's newer than Obsession, so I think that's why it's number 1.
Yeah.
But very cool. I definitely plan on going to see that. So I'm a Regal Cinemas Unlimited guy.
Yeah.
So I pay my $25 a month, and I can go see as many movies as I want to. Been really busy this year, so Obsession is only the 3rd movie I've seen.
I like Regal. That's my favorite spot too. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know how long movie theaters are going to last. I think they've done a phenomenal job of adapting to the current environment. Like when they ripped out all the cheap seats and started putting in power recliners, that's a boss move. That is a great move.
It's a great move.
And then Regal in particular did RPX, which is a Regal Premium Experience. Not to sound like a commercial for Regal, but that's where they vibrate your chair, when things get real busy.
Yeah. It's cool, man. It's cool. Yeah. And the thing is, they're just a victim of how bad Hollywood has gotten. That's the thing about it. I mean, they're giving us what we would like, and like you mentioned, it's just there's so much crap coming out, they can't make any money.
There are a couple of things. First of all, let's give them kudos for also adding bars into their theaters. The problem with that is, I'm 61 years old. I don't want to be drinking a beer during a movie. That thing's going to make me pee at least twice. I'm going to have to go once on my own.
On your own, yeah.
So I need to go see Obsession again because, I missed 2.5 minutes of it at one point. But anyway, it's so true that, being a movie guy, there used to be, I remember I'd pull up the listings and I'd have to pick between 2 or 3 or 4 movies that I wanted to see. And these days it's like, I look at the list and I'm just like, I don't want to see any of these. And
terrible.
So that's why I'm excited about Obsession and Backrooms being out. I remember one time, and I should do this kind of thing more often, going to 2 movies in one night. I was an unlimited guy, so I picked one movie and
that's cool.
Picked another one at 9:00. Oh man, I've read. I think Regal does top stats for their top unlimited people. There are people that they go to movies all day long, every day. That's all they do. So it's clearly there's something wrong with those people. But
yeah.
I remember seeing, just throwaway movies that if you're seeing them for free, are fun to see. There was a movie Blake Lively did. I don't remember the name of it. Shallow Water or something like that, where she's out surfboarding and she gets trapped in this little inlet by a shark. So it's an hour and a half of her fighting off a shark and trying to get back to land. I would see that. There was a movie called Fall that came out a few years ago that was the two girls that climbed the tower in the middle of the desert. Did you ever see that one?
I did not.
That tower is like a couple thousand feet in the air. And so I was like, I'm gonna sit in the second row, and there were times in that movie where I was just like, I just couldn't look because they were so high up in the air. But that was another one that was worth seeing. That if you're an unlimited subscriber, go see them. But these days, man, I look at the list and it's like, first of all, let's do some branding here. There we go.
Yeah, it's bad because they don't have any focus anymore. They have terrible writers, people who don't care about the subject. And you and I are very privy to the superhero genre and what happened with Marvel and how they don't care about, they don't know the history, they don't care about the lore, and they create their own thing, spin off. I'm trying to think the other day. I was talking about this with somebody at work last week. What's the last good superhero movie? And I had to go way back. What I thought was actually good, not one that necessarily you can watch and say, okay, but what was the last good superhero movie?
Well, Avengers, the last Avengers movie.
I didn't like Endgame. I thought Endgame was terrible. Now, leading up to it, Infinity War was perfect. That's a great movie. That ended the way it should. The bad guy winning was what made that movie good. And Endgame was just slop.
What did you not like about Endgame?
Oh, well, it would take the whole show. It would take a whole week of shows. But
right, yeah.
This whole thing, the whole going back and having the stuff, none of it made any sense. And then, but anyway, killing Iron Man, all these decisions they made, it was bad. It was bad.
They killed off Black Widow. That was sad. No more Scarlett Johansson. That's
Cap going to the old Cap and all.
Well, I think the current round of Spider-Man movies are okay, but
but I don't like him as Spider-Man, man. It doesn't work for me. MJ's terrible. I don't
know. The whole MJ character, we're not going to call her Mary Jane. Because we want to swap out the redhead for, the popular Euphoria girl. And his best friend Ned looks like he just jetted in from Hawaii and ate way too many pineapples.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing in the books where he had that kind of relationship with Ned. What are we doing?
I know. So anyway, lots to talk about.
Well, congrats on your $75 million donation being announced yesterday. I know you've been kind of holding that under the vest.
No, man, that was Chris Coleman, not me.
Oh, was that Chris? Okay.
Well, we're trying to figure that out. So Chris goes off to Europe and they start getting a bunch of football commitments because that always happens. And then mysteriously get the $75 million donation the year he comes back. Or Andy Bitter's currently in Vegas.
Oh, you think maybe he hit it?
He's out there with Nizialek. They go traveling together. Nizialek would not donate to Tech, and it's not Andy's speed to donate to a school. But now Andy knows that if Virginia Tech football is better, then more people are going to read his stuff. So
I guess but he would donate to what? He went to Wisconsin, right? Is that where he went? Or
I always have to stop and think. He's from Minnesota and he went to Wisconsin.
Yeah, right? He'd donate. Yeah, that's where he would donate. Okay. Well, we'll see. It looks like it's going to be shared. Is it? Break it down for. I couldn't remember. I know it's going to go to athletics and the honors school as well. But whatever it is, it's going to be quite a bit of money toward athletics. So
yeah, it's $75 million, and it's from an anonymous donor. But if you hang out on message boards, you know who it is. And
yeah.
I don't know the exact breakdown. It's funny. We've been hearing about this for it feels like 2 years that it's been in the works.
Yeah.
And it started at 35 million, then it became 50 million, and then it became 75 million. So that's very cool that the number kept going up. The particular individual that donated, from what I understand, it was tied up in some company stock and options and things like that, and that's part of why it took so long. But I had an insider tell me probably not too long ago, maybe a month ago, a person very close to all of this who said, I don't know, man, sometimes we think he's BSing us. He's just stringing us along. Which by that time, we've been hearing about it for so long that I think that was a valid viewpoint. Glad to hear that was not true and that the donor came through. And I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. This is the kind of gift so you go back in time to when they did the West Side expansion of Lane Stadium. I'm trying to think, Rick, I could look it up on Tech Sideline, but I don't want to do that. I think the south end zone in 2002 cost something like $35 million.
In 2002,
West Side expansion.
Wow. Yeah.
West Side expansion in 2005 was $55 million. This donation could have paid for both of those pretty much. So you go back to 20 years in time, 25 years, it's an enormous donation. And now you're looking at the 75 million and you're calculating, I'll buy a good roster for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I hate to take that viewpoint of a $75 million donation because it's transformational. But that's kind of the way
That's it. That's it.
I wish I could have gotten to the guy. I could have gotten one of my pet projects, which is an actual softball stadium. I'd been like, hey, dude, just $5 million over here for the softball stadium, man. Come on, just make Will happy.
But that's a great point you make. And eventually, when we get up to $50, $60 million rosters, if anything ever happens, it's basically going to be one roster that you can take care of. Even though it sounds like a great amount of money, it's not going to last very long in this new era, is it? It's just that's where we are, man. That's what I'm saying. When do you have enough money? When can you have enough to keep up right now with the way it's going? It's nuts.
Yeah. So a couple of things. One of them's a joke, and remind me that I said that, and one of them's not. So late last night, I think I read that a lot of his donation is, well, they talk about it being from a family. I'm talking about it being from a guy. You know, they always go the family thing. I mean, I endowed a scholarship over at Tech, and it's in my wife's name, but I'm the guy who triggered it, and I'm the guy who paid for it.
Right.
So, but I think I read that a lot of his money will be endowment type money that they will use to fund continuing. They'll draw. It's not exactly draw interest on it. They'll invest it, and they'll get earnings on it each year. So there's a certain amount of principal that will remain untouched. That part of it isn't being widely broadcast, and I think I read that in David Cunningham's article on our site, or read it. Sorry, I don't remember where I read that. Some of it will be operational, and then so somebody last night was like, "Yeah, that'll buy a heck of a roster for 1 year." And there's an old. Did you ever listen to the Steve Martin comedy routines from the '70s? His albums that he did.
Some of them, yeah.
It was probably wow, I've already forgotten the name of his albums, but he had a comedy routine where he was going through the math on how much money he made off of his shows, and he was coming up with figures, and he said, and just for fun, I figured out if I fill up a 3,000 seat hall at $800 per ticket, that's $2,400,000.
Right.
And he says, he gets the mic real close, and he goes, and this is what I'm shooting for. One show, goodbye. And that's what you can do with a $60 million roster, man. Take your shot,
Yeah.
Texas Tech style. Texas Tech is just jamming every roster in their program full of talent and just trying to make something happen somewhere.
That's what they're doing. Limitless supply of oil. There you go. Just take more. Take more. We don't care. To what end, I don't know.
Speaking of Texas Tech, what happened in softball last night? Any idea where that is? Do you pay any attention to that?
Texas cleaned it out, baby. They won the series. They won it.
Wow, what'd they do? Win the first two games?
Yeah,
it's over.
It's over. Down goes Frazier. Yeah, it's over, man. It's over.
Wow.
Longhorns got it done.
So Texas Tech put up all that money for that superstar pitcher and was not able to get him to a national championship.
No, 4-1 was the final last night.
You know what? I can't remember that pitcher's name. Nija Kennedy or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
They threw her stats up on screen. She has a 1.03 career ERA, and she's lost 25 games in her career.
I know.
How do you lose 25 games with a 1.03 ERA?
How bad's your offense you're playing? Yeah, you're pitching for.
Now, Texas Tech has a good offense now, but you take that pitcher and put her in Blacksburg with that offense they got in Blacksburg?
I know. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Dude, they can win. And you look at Angela Tincher's record. Angela had a ridiculous ERA, and I'm sorry I don't know the exact numbers, but Angela only won about 65% of her games, maybe 70%.
Yeah.
Because they had no offense.
They did not have any hitting, man.
they were a so-so softball team with one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So back to the gift.
Attention's real. Yep.
So they got a $20 million donation last year. They got a $75 million donation this year. There's some talk of another big donation coming down the pipe. I don't know about that one. But there's a lot of money coming in, and I'm going to put it out there, man. This donation that came in, I'm pretty sure it was contingent on Whit Babcock not being the athletic director anymore.
It kind of feels like it, doesn't it?
I mean, that thing lingered for 2 years. They dismiss Whit, and boom, it happens. And and I am pretty sure this donor was part of the group of, I think it was 5 that went to Tim Sands a few months back, said, you got to do something about athletics. And Sands says, tell you what, I'll retire. How's that? This donor was part of that group, and that group went and said, you got to do something about athletics, including restructuring and getting a new AD. So some of it's inside info, some of it's connecting the dots. This was not going to happen unless changes were happening in the athletic department. So here we are.
I think there's a lot of places like that. I hear that a lot, that there's gifts that are out there waiting, but I'm not until you do what you need to do. Yeah, it's not necessarily threats. They're just saying, look, you want it, you come to me. I've told you where I'm holding, while I'm holding. I'm sorry, I'm not going to budge. You need it more than I need to give it to you. So, I think that's happening a lot. Yeah.
There were people that thought the athletic department was poorly run. I'm one of them.
Correct. Yes.
I like Whit as a person, but he rose to Virginia Tech athletic director in 2014, and then college sports started changing, and he couldn't roll with it. He just couldn't deal with it. At a time when the athletic department was structured where your athletic director has to not just be the operational guy, but he's got to be the visionary guy to kind of drive where the athletic department's going to go. And so the way they're structuring it now, and he's got to be the money raising guy. The athletic director's got to wear a lot of hats these days that they didn't used to have to wear. And so the new structure of the athletic department, where they split out that it's not an LLC, it's a corporation.
That's right.
That's going to be the engine that drives all the money and all the visionary policy. And then you'll have the title of athletic director, who is a vice president and director of athletics. So he's the vice president of the school. He reports to the president. He works with the corporation. He's on the board of the corporation. He's got voting rights for what the corporation is doing. So he's heavily involved. So there's a nice link there. But primarily, the athletic director is an operations guy.
Yep.
He's going to run the department. He's still going to hire and fire coaches and staff and things like that. So it's there are very few athletic directors who could make the jump from how college athletics were 15 years ago and how they are now. And of course, it's not necessarily bad mouth and Whit to say he couldn't make the jump. That's a tough job.
Yeah, it is. It is. I take the same viewpoint you do, and I've never even met him. It's nothing personal. I think he failed as an athletic director. I think he failed football twice. I know what it was like with the approach he took with, Pete, when he brought Pete Morris in, and that whole mindset that you can't talk to anybody and they closed the door, and it was weird, man. It was such a departure from everything we were used to. I understand you can't maintain when that coach is gone, and I know you have to change, but boy, they just almost they saw it like they wanted to forget about what made Virginia Tech special. And he was the orchestra leader. I'm sorry. It never seemed to make any sense to me. It never got any better. And I know other programs had good years. I know the women's basketball team went to the Final Four, and softball, Pete DeMoore's done a great job with what Scott Thomas started, and baseball had a big year, and basketball. But overall, I can't give him a passing grade either. I just can't.
Yeah, he had his moments here and there. He did a good job hiring coaches. He hired Buzz Williams and funded Buzz, by the way, gave Buzz all the money he was asking for. We did some good things along the way, primarily centered around the hiring of coaches. I think I've said this on your show. I think it was either last week or the week before, where I pulled up my Twitter DMs and found my exchanges with Witt. And we used to DM a fair amount on Twitter.
Yeah, you did mention that. Yeah.
And then it stopped with COVID. COVID just, man, that guy started aging rapidly when COVID came along. Excuse me. So all the wheels are in motion, man. They're doing everything they can with the athletic department.
Feels like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we're going to have a new video board in Lane Stadium this year. I'm not big on that stuff. Not big at all.
No.
Because every timeout is just filled with just blasting music and commercials.
I know.
And they're putting in LED lights, and I'm not huge on LED lights either. I'm trying to think. I think the last game I went to at South Carolina, I'm not sure they had the LEDs in yet. It was a day game anyway, so you can't really do stuff like you can at night with LEDs. But doesn't it freak you out when you're watching a football game and a kid scores a touchdown and the stadium goes dark?
Yeah, they do all this,
and that's probably I don't know. I have to experience that in person to see what I think, but it's weird watching it on TV to have the stadium lights suddenly start flashing. Still, I don't think it's in the plans to have improved Wi-Fi in Lane Stadium.
No, they kind of kicked that to the curb for another year at least, didn't they? Yeah, we're not worried about that. That's not in the budget this year.
Well, I just remember the first time it came up, Witt was like, "Oh, well, that would cost $3 to $5 million," and suddenly it's 15 to 20.
I know, it's like, really?
You're making that up. That can't be true. I could buy a ton of Google routers and hook that place up for way less than $15 million. Run some fiber optic cable in that place, get a bunch of Google Nest little ports and put them all over the place. And
there are a lot of people that follow the inflation tracker, right? Like how things. What do you think? I'm trying to think. You mentioned what it cost when Tech did the upgrades to the end zone and the stands and the money and all that. I wonder what that would cost today. Just, what do we look at 20 years later? What do you think? Man, oh man, can you imagine?
So the thing I always reference is the Convocation Center that the University of Miami built. So do me a favor and look this up. I don't know what it's called.
All right.
Look up University of Miami Basketball Arena. I think it may be called like the Watco Center or something.
The Watco Center.
Sexy. So Google that and pull up the Wikipedia page on it.
Yeah, Watsco. Named after me. Who knew?
Watsco. So hit the Wikipedia entry, and in there's a box on the right that should say when it was built, how much it costs, and what that would be in today's dollars.
Construction. $48 million in 2003.
Right.
And this was 2025, $80 million. so double.
Well,
almost double. Not quite
32
double.
million off of 48, 67% higher in 22 years.
22 years. Yep.
Yeah. So 48 million, 80 million today. So people that tell you that a new castle will cost 100 to 200 million are full of it. That Convocation Center, the Watsco Center, seats something like 8,000, which is perfect.
Ice hockey too.
Yeah. Shows.
That's cool.
So you could get a nice place built for, let's round it up a little bit, 100 million. You could get it done. You and I have talked about this before, man. I think I've spouted off before, hey, put it where the outdoor track is. Just get rid of the outdoor track and put a conversation.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not. We talked about that on the message boards. It's not that simple.
No.
That outdoor track is called, I believe it's called the Miller-Johnson track complex. Apparently, when you pay to name something like that, it's got to live forever.
Yeah.
So when a family donates a bunch of money like they did, I don't know what the dollar figure was. You can't just decide you're not going to have an outdoor track anymore. You gotta deal with that.
You got to deal with it.
Wanted to close that loop because I know we've talked about it before. So anyway, south. Let's do West Side expansion 2005, 55 million. Be about close to 100 million today.
Yeah, 100 million. Yeah, just for the one side. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Bizarro world, my friend. In terms of this money in college athletics, it's just wow. What'd you think about Saban here before we head out? I thought I was just laughing listening to him.
What was it he said that set people off?
Everything. It's just such a hypocritical thing. And I think the thing to me, he's talking to everybody like we don't know what's going on. We don't understand. He didn't say anything new. I just think he's got such a high esteem of himself that he thinks, well, I'm saying it now. So now it's real. Ignoring coaches' salaries, ignoring the way things have been for, but now since players are getting money, boy, now it's a problem. Like, it's just bad look.
I did see your comment on it on Twitter, and you're exactly right that, the coaches that are whining about what it takes to buy a roster these days are coaches whose boosters were paying for the roster years ago.
Right.
And at a place like Alabama, Saban himself didn't need to cheat because the machine is evergreen. The machine runs regardless of who the coach is.
100%.
So the worst thing to happen to Alabama and everybody else who cheats, let's not just start randomly naming teams, is that they used to be able to buy a pretty kick-ass roster for what, 2 or 3 million?
Yeah.
And now it's costing you 10 times that.
100%
to buy a roster.
That's what they're really upset about. Right.
Yeah. And it hasn't put the squeeze on coaches' salaries like everybody thought it would. They're still getting paid a ton of money.
Which he didn't bring up one time, by the way. That was okay,
No, these guys have profited off of that machine for many, many years. And so, a lot of what he says in a pie in the sky vacuum, you're like, oh yeah, he's so true. And then
right.
Like if a journalist or a fan talks like that, it's one thing. But when a guy who has profited off the machine talks like that, I'm just like, man, I don't know. You're a really good coach, but you need to sit this one out.
Yeah, just sit there on your little game day set and make irrelevant comments, collect your big check, and go home to your wife.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you.
So that's what I think. I agree with you.
Yeah, it was weird. I tried to go back yesterday, make sure I wasn't missing it. I was just going, this is it. You're not saying anything.
Like a guy like Saban saying something like, it's just a shame. It's all about the money now.
I know. Yeah. This just
let me talk to some of your 5-star recruits from 15 years ago. They'll tell you it's all about the money.
That's right. That's exactly right.
All right, so you got Mike Ashley on this week. He's actually I don't have to go an hour and a half this morning.
Open Mike is about to join us here.
All right.
Yeah, he's back. I don't know. He's been traveling all over the place. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he's been, but we'll find out. All
right, man. I will bow out. Good talking to you.
You too, man. Have a great weekend.
All righty.
Will Stewart here on the program. Good stuff from Will. I'm getting Mike his invite now, so he should be here in just a little bit. Thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors. We thank them a lot because they make this show go. Couldn't do it without you. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio. McClellan Chiropractic in our chat room. Professional Door Incorporated, Travis Williams for our text line. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, the NRV Super Bowl. We are presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Little River Heating and Air. The attorney, Ryan Pry, our BDST fan question of the week. And the Rams won the trade 37-13. Browns lose, Wayne, by over 3 touchdowns. Something you're not, shocked by. National Bank, member FDIC, the show's exclusive banking partner. ReadySetFund.com, Sundown Electric, Super Bowl. Can't wait to do the bash there. Awesome stuff. Good conversation with Will. About to segue into a good conversation with Mike Ashley, and then we'll finish up with Jen, who is not playing the saxophone one more time. No T-Bird today. Just realized T-Bird's not here. I hope he's okay. No T-Bird. Amazing the Browns scored 13. Yeah, I mean, maybe the offense isn't as bad as we thought. Where's Chris Lester? He hadn't been around. He's not around today. Typical Browns. And I do. I think about what we talk about during the show, and I went back, and all these people were trying to say the Browns did so well in this trade, and I'm just going, I can't. No, you didn't. I mean, the cursed kid, everybody's saying such a great player. He might be. He's already caused him problems. He took the number 8 away from the Garcia kid, the quarterback, or the Gabriel kid, and he showed up at practice wearing it. And you usually have to go and they do this, hey, I'll make you an offer to take your number. He just took it. They just gave it to him, didn't tell Gabriel. So now he has to change his number. It's a little thing, but it's like, is he really going to go to Cleveland and excel like he did for the Rams? I know who will excel, Myles Garrett, because you know what? He's might be the best all-around football player in the NFL. That's why you lost the trade, Cleveland. You gave up arguably the best player in the league. You don't win the trade when you give up the best player in the league. The Browns really did a good job getting those future draft picks. Yes, because they've done such a great job drafting over their last 30 years. This is stop. Joining us now on the program, and there he is back. Hey, he's on work release from prison. He's allowed in the hallway. It's Mike Ashley. What's up?
Picking on the Brownies, a club so poor they can't afford a logo on their helmet. And what is your moniker? Garrett, what was Myles Garrett by acclamation named the best player? Because no one ever said that when he was just on the Browns. But now he's in LA, so he's the best player.
Well, I mean, he's kind of done it in Cleveland without, being in Cleveland. Just set the sacks record. I mean, he's the biggest disruptor defensively in the league. There's nobody can do anything with that guy.
Well, they were saying the same thing about Micah Parsons, and he got traded too. And now,
well, he did.
Yeah,
I never was that big on Parsons. But anyway.
Well,
how are you?
As a guy that watched every game, I was pretty big on him, and I was big on him like quarterbacks having to wear him on third down because he was on their back knocking.
Yeah, now, yes, third down,
that.
yes.
Yeah,
Micah Parsons on third down, correct. First and second down,
but but yeah, right. Because I saw what teams did to him to take him out of the game, and that was basically run anywhere else or run right at him and power over him, and he didn't have much help, and that was the whole point of all that. If we want to, go back into history, but we don't. We want to move forward, don't we?
We're moving forward.
Please.
Well, how are you? We missed you last week.
I am good. I'm good. I'm in the attic. I'm in the battic.
It looks great. So, yeah, like
I'm
the prison wall behind you. Looks great.
I actually lighting that seems reasonable. I probably could make it better. I could turn a light behind me and get that halo effect. But I think I'll dance with what brung me here.
No, I got to make a date with you. Next time you're in town, you got to let me know. Travis Williams from Professional Door wants to meet you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He loves you. He thinks you're just he can't wait for your segment each and every week. Professional Door, sponsored by Texas.
I have so many friends from this show. My wife says, "Why do you want to get up and do this every week? Why do you agonize over writing?" I say, because I make all kinds of new friends, people that share the same interests as me. How many people my age get to do that regularly? So it's great. And I will say this about Travis Williams. I loved him when he was returning kickoff for the Packers in the mid-'60s.
I know, right? He was great. Now he's back here in Dublin.
Maybe number 25, baby. And I say that, and let's tie this all together, because the Packers were one of the teams I had on my first electric football team. And every game started with a kickoff, so you had Travis Williams back deep if the Packers were receiving. So how could I forget that? Come on.
I went to go see him on Monday, and I think we talked about you half the time. So I'm like, okay, here we go. All right, that's great. So, yeah, we got to make sure. When next time you're in, let me know. We're going to go surprise him.
Hey, I eat lunch.
Exactly.
I go out at night. Yes, I'm in.
We'll get him to buy. He can buy. He'll buy us lunch. Yeah, it'll be great.
Oh, I'm not talking about that, but yeah.
How were you? Where were you last week?
Walk those for everyone. What's that?
What's great too is to your impact. Like when you're not here, you don't know
impact.
But all I get is questions. Where's Mike? Where's Mike? And I'm like, I think he was traveling to Delaware or something. I'm not sure where he was last week.
Well, Will Stewart has light shamed me so much here that it was sometimes uncomfortable to follow him and his immaculate lighting. Can you get somebody from Hubble or somebody like that to help me with my lighting? At maybe that's
light shaming.
I need to be sponsored by a lighting company, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Men's Apparel. Thompson's for the Extraordinary Man. I wish they were still around. Remember those commercials? The Extraordinary Man. Thanks a lot. When I really felt down about myself, oh God, I got to lose weight. I'm not in good shape. This is terrible. And then I roll into Thompson's and I go straight to the 6 times large shirts that are in the back and try a couple of those on. I was like, hey, this is great. This is really big on me. Let's go to the Pizza Hut buffet.
Come on me. I need to gain some weight so this shirt will fit.
True stories. Yes.
Did you watch any of the, what I thought was a pretty embarrassing Nick Saban Congress?
Well, I tell you what's bad up here is my TV went out, and I haven't had TV in 2 days. I've caught up a little bit on the internet, and I'm familiar with Nick Saban. Yes, he reverted to the old Nick Saban that used to make me mad all the time when the guy making $11 million a year was yelling at minimum wage paid sports writers how to do their job and stuff. That used to really tick me off about Nick Saban, and he sort of went back to that. He was warm and fuzzy on the ESPN preview shows, but I think he's more like the bed and breakfast guy. he has in those commercials, and I am sorry. Nobody's a bigger proponent of higher education than I. I made a living working there for so many years, and unlike a lot of sports writers, and I only say this just because it's one thing that I used in my career to separate me. I actually worked in athletic departments. I worked at Virginia Tech. I worked at Radford. I consulted with Marshall and sort of worked there for a while. So I actually have been in those rooms, in those meetings, talking about issues from that perspective, rather than just on the outside ranting and raving about it like we do now. But I'm so mad at colleges for abdicating control of this. You could have fixed this. You could have made things where you had more control, but instead you're ceding it to Congress. Now let's see, how has that worked out in recent memory with Congress making decisions for everybody about things, or not making them because they just drag their feet. And the more you head to free market, the more you open yourself up to litigation. Maybe college athletics should not be about money and fundraising and all that. Maybe it should be about the best interests of the student athletes and creating an atmosphere where they can learn and grow as people. And yeah, if they think money is all there is to that, well, maybe they don't belong there in the first place. College should be different. There should be an altruistic part of it. But I know I sound like a crazy man out here shouting there, but it's and Nick Saban's ideas, I don't think, are taking us anywhere, are going to fix any of the problems, and I think he knows that too. But we just like to, obviously, based on how often we get goaded to talk about this on your show, Rick, and I don't mean this as a criticism. Everybody's kind of interested in this. Everybody wants to know how we can get back to I guess one platoon football. No face mask. Big guys bumping into each other and just football. Great, it is. But whose decision? When I read stuff about how they're making more money and it's all going to go to football, adding more coaches, more staff, more facilities, so they can attract more athletes, and it's not going to go to the swimming program or track and field. Who makes that decision on your campus? Why can't you fix that? Why can't there be some consortium? And of course would be collusion. So you better watch your butt, because there's going to be some person that is the greatest basketball player of all time and goes, well, why is there a salary cap? Why can't I make as much money as I can make? It's just we got on the slippery slope, and as a fat guy who doesn't ski, I'm telling you, they're tumbling down the mountain now. They're going to break their leg, and they're going to be in the lodge with the coffee and the bad sweater, or hot chocolate or something.
What would it take to get you on skis?
I was set to go on a ski trip when I was a junior in high school. We were gonna meet at my church, and there was about 20 of us signed up, and I can't remember what skis, maybe I don't know, the one up there in just outside the Shenandoah Valley, which I can't remember the name of right now. And we were all set to go, and I got up that Saturday morning and I looked out my window, because it had that remember when you got up at school and there was that glistening, you were going, hey, something's going on, it's really quiet outside. You open up and there's 2 feet of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
You go,
yeah.
Oh boy, no school today. Well, it wasn't no school today. Ironically, my ski trip got canceled because of snow.
The snow. So, and at that point, it's not in the cards for you to go skiing.
There was a fork in the road. There was a fork in the road where I didn't get to go skiing, and then it just never came up again. And here I am now. Now I'm a little, my body weight's a little voluminous to get on thin pieces of wood and go high speeds down a mountain. I'm smarter than that now, boy. And I don't have to go to Congress and ask them about it. I just tell them.
No, you know the answer. Voluminous. Good stuff. All right, you want to get in the open? And guess what? He hasn't even gotten into open mic, folks. I mean, come on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this one's personal. So, and I know, that's when you're best with this, right? But so we'll see about that. I would like to talk about this. I am not sure when my sister-in-law Judy became a bigger sports fan than me. Of course, I worked in sports.
Is that possible?
Of course, I worked in sports a long time. Worked in sports, being the operative phrase there, throughout the Pleistocene and Belichick Stoic eras. So I get a pass. This comes up now because Judy watched her Knicks on pay cable about every game to very little return on investment. She rooted with a passion I envied, and she was convinced no Knick had ever committed a foul. She didn't give a rat's patootie about the stats or matchups or the trivia tidbits a wag like me offered. And she agonized through each possession, exclaiming loudly when shots went awry, like you do on the air, Rick. Rebounds were snatched away or the ball turned over. She would yell, "Sugar!" We all know such sports-loving family or friends. Heck, you may be that fan, married to that fan, or about to strangle that fan. So it's somewhat bittersweet, this playoff performance by the Knickerbockers, bottling a magic untapped in the city that doesn't sleep since Willis Reed, Walt Frazier, Dave DeBusschere, Bill Bradley et al. Roamed the hardwoods in the early 70s. Judy missed all that, moving to New York thereafter and giving her hoops heart to Patrick Ewing and John Starks, and especially Charles Oakley, who I love to tell her played at Virginia Union right here in my Commonwealth, home of much of the world's best basketball, though we can't, we won't, we wouldn't, please don't claim the Wizards. I remember the petite, polite school teacher Judy cussing NBC through her television for splitting the screen to show Al Cowlings driving O.J. Simpson in a white Bronco and busting up coverage of the Knicks-Rockets finals. Now I'm finding joy in rooting for a team, mostly for her and partly because Victor Wembanyama will have more chances, a lot more chances. In fact, he may not give any other team much chance over the next 10 or 12 years. He is the most generational talent I have ever seen. Hard to take your eyes off the 7'4", 22-year-old who runs the floor, shoots threes, has giraffe DNA, speaks a couple of languages fluently and politely, and can touch the rim standing flat-footed. He changes the whole geometry of the sport. And that fascinates me. Great players, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, to name a recent few, drive and slash to the basket, take to the air, and end up throwing the ball as far away from the hoop as they can because of Wemby. Judy wouldn't like him. He doesn't have New York on his jersey. When she first retired to Florida a few years back, she was so disappointed her Giants weren't on TV every week. I explained to her all she had to do was walk across the street to the tiki bar on the beach, and they would have the games, and she would find her people. New Yorkers, decked out in blue and as loud and proud as she. It was one of the best gifts I ever gave her, that simple knowledge. Turns out I gave a gift to all those Florida, New York fans too, because Judy was the life of the party. She loved friends and family, and she let you know it. She was a passionate fan of music, good food, and a glass or two of wine. Her laugh was contagious, and holidays without her are a little less joyous. A part of me is really mad at the Knicks for waiting a couple of years too long to have this season. Beloved Judy checked out of our lineup a couple of years ago. I took her to MSG once for a live game, Stockton and Malone. I don't think she liked it nearly as much as the home couch advantage, putting on a headset and listening to jazz when the announcers were driving her crazy because they weren't saying nice things about the Knicks. If the Knicks win this thing, her smile will light up the skyline, and I'll break out the Pinot Grigio and toast her and Oak. If not, I'll keep telling myself we've always got next year, when I know, sadly, that really isn't true.
Wow. Well done. That was good.
I know.
Wow.
I know you've had loss recently in your family too, Rick. So I know I speak for a lot of people and we all, the fans that know much less about sports and just enjoy them fascinates me because I know, and like you, Rick, I know too much now.
I know. We know
too much information. Let me just go back and think about Travis Williams returning electric football kickoffs.
David Mabry even knew the number 23, the Roadrunner, Travis Williams. Yep.
23. Okay, well, I was off there then. But I was 6 years old, please.
That's right.
And we didn't watch TV at my house. I was probably watching Bonnie Lou and Buster or something like that. Remember that show?
I do.
Sold mobile homes.
I do.
Oh, I remember the old Porter Wagner show too. Was on where we all got to introduce the wondrous Dolly Parton. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky dude, man. You got to hang out with Dolly every week. Come on. Well, they were married.
It was, yeah. And he wore those jackets too, which inspired some of my fashion choices in the 70s later on. Okay.
Next time, Radford.
There was.
Next time, if we ever go back to the NCAA tournament, you're calling the game with me. Can we do the game wearing Porter Wagner jackets?
I actually had a yellow one with this white trim on it, and I wore it with a green bow tie. So that's not going to fit me now. Not even like scuba gear. You want to be like that, but
we'll just go to Thompson's.
If we can get those, I would do it. I'm remiss. I gotta get in the old Dolly Parton joke, that, and this was circa and I know she's had health issues, so I feel bad about this, but it's too good a joke from old days. Back in the 70s, there was, I heard she went to the hospital and she had a lump removed from her chest. It was Porter Wagner.
And it was Porter Wagner.
It's too good. I'm sorry. And I say that as an homage to Dolly, because I love her.
Correct.
I love what she did for those Radford seniors this year. What a great thing that was.
She would laugh at that joke. She would laugh at that joke. I think she would.
And then she'd kick me with her cowboy boots or something in the shin, and I would hop around.
Well, Paul Hightower. We know that guy. Says, you're right, Mike. Schools chose to be part of the NCAA. Follow the rules you agreed on. There you go.
Yeah. It's and Paul.
It's pretty simple.
Been fighting that fight 40-some years as an athletic administrator. Paul Hightower, the first Radford University student to get tenure.
Wow, what an honor! What an honor!
He stayed around. Yeah, and people don't even remember Paul as an athlete. He ran cross country. And then he became I don't know he became the Ed Hockley. Name a famous official. He was the ubiquitous on the intramural fields as an official.
Was he really? Was he the guy?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah.
Hightower everywhere. That's great. Hey, when by the way,
some week intramural stories. Confessions from the sidelines and on the fields.
What year? Because somebody asked me, and I didn't want to get it wrong. I think it's 82. What year did Rowdy Red make his appearance? We got Hightower here, so he'll.
81.
81.
Yeah, because that's the year that all you got to remember is the year the Dedman Center opened, and that's on a plaque somewhere, I'm sure. December something 1981, the coldest day in the history, where I'm standing out there with a blazer saying, please, Dr. Dedman, stop talking. Please, Dr. Dedman, stop talking. Let us in the building. It was so cold down there by the river. Oh my God. But that was Rowdy debuted on these posters that I somehow don't have one, but
they were awesome.
He had a foot up on a suitcase, and so Rowdy Red's moving in, and that was in conjunction with the opening of the Dedman Center. And we've talked about the whole Rowdy Red thing, but that a lot of that was stolen. Chuck Taylor from Kentucky stole it from was it Western Kentucky? That had
Kentucky, similar guy.
Yeah, they had some kind of furry, and everybody had a furry Muppet then. The Philadelphia Fanatic was the guy I always said he looked like, because we all had that, and then it's funny how things evolve over time. But by the late 80s, kids didn't talk about the Radford Rowdies who used to rule the sidelines at the games in Peters Hall, and they didn't really understand why the Highlanders had a big red Muppet mascot. I remember a columnist for the Tartan, a friend of mine, not me, wrote that it was like a walking ad for New York Carpet World. And so then it was a smart idea to kind of rebrand us as a Highlander and everything. But I mean, you could almost get away with bringing Rowdy back and having him running around still. And at that time, it just meant a lot to us. Radford seems so cutting edge back then, with the air supported roof and really good teams and really cool looking uniforms and just the whole ambiance there. Although the Dedman Center was, you look at those first photos of that game, we just had the bleachers and the blue seats on one side. There was nothing on either end, so it was just wide open. I was a terror as a I still have a shooter's eye. I know it was depth perception was such a problem if you were shooting at one of the baskets because there was no background. It was If you'd been to Sackett's the night before or something like that, you were really
I mean, you're going 1 for 12. Yeah.
Even if you're just on the sideline watching, for Pete's sake, at the bus stop or Chancey's or someplace, you need to tighten up your game if you're going to watch. Yeah.
Well, those marketing shots were way ahead of their time. Somebody showed me, I don't know if it was Laura, somebody, and I saw those. I was like, wow, those are well done. All the introduction to Rowdy, him traveling around, that was smart stuff, man. That was smart stuff.
Yes. I remember, what was that show? PM Magazine, Channel 7 used to have. They came up with a big feature on it. We had time lapse footage of the roof being inflated, stuff like that. And let me give a shout out to somebody who never gets mentioned with this stuff. And that was my boss in the public relations office, Debbie Brown. She was the one behind all that. And while sometimes the relationship with athletics will become contentious, you got to remember, athletics at that time didn't pay us any money at all out of their budget to do promotions and things like that. That was all raised by the likes of John Montgomery and Don Bowman, some other legendary people that people don't think about what they meant to the growth of the athletic program here, but especially Debbie. And nobody was a bigger fan of Radford than she was. And that's why we got along so good. Once she knew, she hired me twice. I left to go to Virginia Tech, and she hired me back, her and Rick Rogers. So I owe them that, but they knew you cut this skin, I bleed plaid.
You're going to bleed plaid.
Which is tough for an old Andrew Lewis Wolverine to say when our arch rivals were the Glenborough Highlanders. It's true. It's true. They just wore green and gold over Glenborough. Highlander heaven, as Mike Stevens used to call it over there.
We need to bring Rowdy back, and we need a live Highlander mascot. We need it to be a dude. I don't know why that hasn't. I brought that up years ago. Oh, that's a great idea. Of course, nothing ever happened. About 10 years ago, it should be a dude. We should you get the students involved. You can have a different representation from the fraternities. Get them all painted up. I'm telling you, we're missing out not having a live Highlander at games, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah,
what say you?
Well, I think of UVA, which combines it with the cartoon and the entrance with the guy riding through Charlottesville, and the real person rides into the stadium. So there's a lot of things you can do with that. I remember the first time I saw the Highlander, like I said, I thought it was a good idea at the time to make kids understand what the Highlander. Some people used to get upset because we had too many school colors. They said, "What color do we wear to the games?"
Oh no,
freedom of choice. Wear whatever you want. Wear plaid. And we got the new Highlander guy, and I remember that he had that big horn on his helmet. It looked like he was trying to adjust his TV reception or something. And then they changed the face, and he just had this. He had this. I always called him the perpetually surprised Highlander, because he was just.
I know. It's terrible.
But anyway, that's that. It's still a good idea, and we gotta, you gotta be true to your roots. And I used to say, we have no traditions, so let's stop this and do something new. Okay, well, that's how you have no traditions, because you keep changing stuff.
That's right.
You idiots.
Let it go. Let it ferment. How about we present the idea? Right. Yeah.
Yes, and we stay with it, and you make people like it. What do you think the first meeting at Virginia Tech was like? Hokies? Okay, we're going to call ourselves the Hokies? What is that? Is that the sandwich or what? It just, and exactly. now nobody questions this anymore.
Right. They just let it go. That's right.
Good old O.M. Stull, look that one up, kids. O period, right. M period, Stull. Look that one up.
Yeah, look that up and you'll know the history. Right. All right, well, have a good weekend. Glad to have you back. I understand the guard's about to come to get you to take you back to your cell. So, as we say.
Yeah, but they can't get one of those jackets of my size with no sleeves. Anyway, hey, Goober says, hey, everybody have a great weekend. I love what the weather's doing now. So I should shut up about it. Knock on wood.
There you go. Hey to Goober. Be good, my friend. Take care of yourself. Mike Ashley. Great stuff as always. And Mike, lunch is on Travis, he said.
Oh,
it's gonna
no, it's usually on me because the way I eat. That's a whole other thing.
So that's gonna happen next time you're around. You let me know.
I'm looking forward to it. That'd be great. All right.
Yeah. All right. All right, brother. Take care, man. There you go. Mike Ashley. Good stuff. That was good, man. His open mics are always good, but Judy there in the Knicks. Yeah. And I still have that with Mom and the Cowboys. My mom, I'm not exaggerating. I think my mom was a bigger sports fan, or at least NFL fan, than my dad. She picked the Cowboys in the 60s. She was big football fan. She loved football, and she knew. And so every time I see the star and I see Dak Prescott, I mean, it's always, I go back to Mom. Whenever the game's on Sunday night, I watch it thinking of Mom. I mean, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but it all goes back to Mom. All goes back to Mom. So, matter of fact, I guess it was either the last time I was able to talk to her, or the next to last time, I had brought her a couple of cowboy items from her house, and they were there when she passed, and I'll never forget that. And I remember how her face lit up, and that I remembered to do that. So I always have that link to them. I understand how Cowboys fans are. I understand, but there was one and two, Mike Ashley, that I know personally that are the right stuff in terms of that particular professional franchise's fanship. Yeah, good stuff. I remember watching Porter Wagner live at Lakeside with my grandma. Really? That's cool, Brian. But I think, next time, Mike, if we are in an NCAA tournament game or a Big South title game and Mike and I are on the call, we just need to don the Porter Wagner jackets. Why not? I mean, I'd wear I'm guessing it had to be polyester. Right? Jen, the Gamecock girl, going to join us here in a second. I think I sent the invite. Let me make sure she got it. She usually sends me a text if she did. I think we're good. Yep. Wayne says, my mom was the same way about Tech. Every pick at nursing home is of her making VT symbol fingers in a VT. So yeah. I mean, my dad was an adamant, massive sports guy, but my mom, man, even when she was nursing all these early shifts, late shifts, she didn't stop watching the game, man. She was always watching the game. She never stopped watching the game. And I had no choice but to be around sports and to adopt it as my thing, right? It was there from the time. Dad in the Steelers in the 60s, mom in the 60s with the Cowboys. I'll tell you what, you talk about dedicated folks. Dad was a fan of the Steelers before the Steelers. Steelers were the worst team in the NFL. And then they hired a guy by the name of Chuck Noll. Mr. Rooney got it right, and then just get out of the way and let him cook. And oh, my goodness gracious. I think we forget how great Chuck Noll was at drafting. You look at some of those draft classes and how those players turned out in the early 70s. If you see the old NFL films footage, there was this guy from North Texas named Joe Green that people were like, you really think he can make that jump? You think he can play for that level and then be an NFL star, come up here? And he said, yeah. He said, he's going to be the star of what we're going to do. He's going to be the center of everything we do defensively. He fits everything. Really? Out of North Texas? Okay. Mean Joe Green. Thanks, David. David sent me the Porter Wagner show theme. That's cool. Look at that jacket. I wonder if I can make this. Yeah, it probably wouldn't play. That's cool. I'll check that out. Jen, did you get the invite? Jen was in chat. Let me send it again. She may not have gotten it. It was a little funky there. Let me make sure she got the invite here. Like I said, when I first came on today for this Finally Friday edition, we had a little jumping around of the intraweb. Or I don't know if it was the internet. The studio was being really strange, and I thought I was going to have to reboot. All right. I just sent it again. Okay, there she is. There she is. Just wanted to make sure. I remember my late brother switching teams from the Broncos to the Cowboys after the Super Bowl 12 loss. He was young and initially liked them both because they had horses. Well, I get it. That was year 2 of me being a Broncos fan. I had picked them out in 76, and then in 77 they went to the Super Bowl. And that's when I learned about Randy Gradishar and the Orange Crush. I remember I bawled like a baby when the Cowboys beat them. My mom was pretty happy. We're always happy when we see that bright, shining face. Look, it's Jen the Gamecock girl. How are you? You're back home. I see. Wow.
I am back home. I'm very happy to be home.
As much as you look forward to being out of town, you're glad to be back home.
My bed is perfect here.
Is that 3 weeks now? Was that 3 weeks solidly? You weren't home?
No. 8 days maybe. It was enough.
Well, wait a minute. You went to Vegas.
Mm-hmm. I came back in between some.
Oh, okay. Okay.
8 days
Holly?
in a row.
You had Holly.
I did
you
have
had
Holly.
Vegas, and then you were here. So yeah, okay, I got you. But you don't just stay away; you go back home. I got you.
Yeah, little time back home, but not enough, and then back on the road.
Did you? I asked this a while back. I can give you a heads up, so don't worry about it. Did you ever get a clue the range of what South Carolina's spending on its roster for football?
The answer is no.
Okay.
I
should have asked.
I'm sorry. I'm not prepared for that.
No, that's all right. It's okay. I was just thinking about Saban. I don't know. You probably saw some of the footage of him pontificating at Congress and all this. What were your thoughts about?
It is difficult to take it that seriously from someone who has become as wealthy as he has off of the sport. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think any of the coaches have anything to complain about, really, with regard to what has happened.
Correct. They're getting a lot more than any of these players are. I'm talking about individually, maybe not collectively, but yeah, they're not hurting. We just saw that in the recent cycle. And then you throw in the buyouts. I mean,
exactly. I mean, how many fields do you know of where you could fail miserably at your job and then get a big fat buyout and then also get hired by someone else within your network within months? Like, it's just a matter of you deciding if you're ready to go back to work or not. I mean,
right.
In the network will pick you up and you'll be saved in it and you'll have other employment.
Make that make sense to me. That's a question I always ask. When did this become a thing? I still don't understand why it's a thing.
I think it became a thing because agents became so prevalent in the sport representing the coaches. What do you think?
Yeah, I just typed in like college football buyouts. When did all this thing start? What are we doing here? Why did we do that? 20 years or so. I think you're right, but I don't understand why a school would be intimidated by that. I mean, okay, you're hired here to do a job. We're going to pay you what you've asked for. We're going to give you a contract comparable to what you and your agent were looking for. But now you're asking for, if you don't do the job or if you break the rules here, we have to let go of you. You potentially get money. I don't know why industry wide it's become such commonplace practice. I don't understand that. I mean, it's the only reason Florida State didn't fire Mike Norvell. They admitted that, to their credit. And Loxley at Maryland kept his job because I think his buyout was going to be almost double figure millions. So we're going to hang on to him one more year at least till we get the funds in order. I mean, what kind of a nice confidence boost is that for the sitting head coach, right?
Well, I think it was patterned after CEO behavior and corporate industry side. Yeah. I mean, I think it was just patterned after that. And that's become the model of American life, is protecting the people that make the most money, but not a lot of other people get any kind of protection.
I think you're right. I think it makes sense because that's what this is. And now more so than ever, it's all just corporation professional stuff. Yeah. Agreed. Well, I don't know. I thought it was a bad look. I thought it was a lack of self-awareness and the arrogance of it from him. Just everything just smelled just like a guy who should be working at ESPN, which he does now. It all makes sense. It all makes sense.
Wouldn't it have been better to hear from somebody else, like some college athlete who is, maybe not a superstar? It would have been different to hear it from somebody else. I think. From some different perspectives, and maybe would have gone a little bit better in terms of the public relations element of it.
Yes. Yeah. They thought it was a good PR move to put him out there without understanding that, you know what? People aren't stupid. I think people just assume people don't understand what a complete contradiction he's being out there right now. I mean, the hypocrite was really exposed. I mean, I think people just believe, people think people are dumb. I think that's where we are. And I know people want to believe, they don't really want truth. They want to believe the things that they think are true. Most of the time, that's why the media doesn't care about facts anymore. I get that. You're playing up to your brainwashed cult base, whatever it is. But everybody with two eyes that loves college football knows what Nick said. Like you mentioned, how much he benefited from it before the rules became what they are, and how much he benefited from it when everything was under the table. And people try to deny that. I don't know what planet you're living on. We've been talking about it all day, right? It was a bad look. It was just a bad look for him to be out there.
Well, what you're saying, I think we just go for the easiest common denominator with our news consumption that's being presented to us. And I think it was an easy choice, but was it the best choice to pick him? I would say no.
No, it was not. It was not. And that's the way it is. And that's just the way it is. But so I don't know. This Congress thing, I think the 5-year thing is going to pass. That looks like that's going to happen. I think you're going to have that, which is a good start. That's something for roster retention. That's going to be good with all the money. Tech just announced all this money in schools. Tennessee got $130 million just for football. Did you see that yesterday?
I did, unfortunately. I winced as I read it. I thought, oh gosh. Yeah, we need some deeper pockets. I got to recruit different kinds of students here who will one day be able to make an impact like that.
And how about the way it's just accepted? Here it's like, well, Tech's getting $75 million, but it's going to go to the honor school. It's going to be, it's going to go into a trust. All these Tennessee, hey, this is $130 million just for football. Here's your check. Nobody's even questioning it. Hey, here you go, football. Enjoy.
In fact, it's being praised more, probably.
Oh, yeah.
I like that about Tennessee, though. I will say, I mean, their fans are scrappy out there. Woo! They are intense, but especially on Twitter and the social media. But they're not apologetic about that kind of stuff. I like it. I like that they're like that. I wish.
Well, yeah. They're a lot like
different, but
yeah, they're similar to Notre Dame fan though, because they haven't won a title since T. Martin was roaming the field in '97, right? The BCS, I think it was the first BCS championship, if I'm not mistaken, that Tennessee claimed. They haven't sniffed it really since then, but yet they get off to a 3-0 start. I mean, all I hear from my Tennessee friends are, hey, watch out. We're going to be there in the end. And then at the end, they have 4 losses or 5 losses, and they're playing in some bowl that we've never heard of.
Well, they seem to have some trouble with Florida here and there.
Yeah, that's usually a sticking point.
Georgia.
What do you think about your league trying to, I don't know, they're holding out, not voting on the 24 teams. It's unanimous now, official in the other 3 leagues, not one dissenting vote. Yet the SEC, I'm hearing, has more people, ADs, presidents, who want 24 teams. Sankey says he does not. There are other schools who do not. They said, we're not going to vote on it for now. Doesn't it feel like a matter of time before your league finally realizes, why are we fighting this? This is not going to go away. Or do you think the SEC is so strong that they can lead this breakaway on their own and they just believe people are going to follow them? Some people are thinking that's the power play they might make here. What do you think?
I think they were trying to position for the power play, but this situation is changing so rapidly. I mean, the landscape's very difficult to predict. Would you have predicted we would be here even a year ago discussing some of the things we were discussing? So
not to these levels of money. No.
I think there's a certain amount of let's wait and see and gamble a little bit on it. I don't know. I mean, it could pay off, could not. But I think some of it is, again, political in nature. We're talking a lot about politics. I feel like more and more on the show. But, I'm sure some of the current member institutions don't want the additions of some of the other potential additions.
Do you believe that the cachet of your league is strong enough to continue to put itself in a position of ultimate power, even though the Big Ten is creating more revenue, distributing more revenue, and winning more championships? I mean, that's an honest question. I'm not trying to bait you into it.
No, that's fair. And, while some of the SEC institutions have great money, a lot of us don't. So I don't, that's a big factor in it too. If it's just a battle of money and resources, I don't know that we're going to win that. We haven't been winning it. Let's be honest. We haven't been winning it in the last few years.
My belief is I don't think Sankey, he's been identified for how long since he's become commissioner, the last 4 or 5 years in particular, the spokesman for college football, right? It's almost like he's the unofficial, whatever Greg Sankey says. I think he fell in love with that power. To me, it feels like it's a very thinly veiled attempt for him to kind of cover up the fact he's got a lot of hurt feelings right now, realizing that Mr. Patini at the Big Ten is kind of the guy now, big business mogul who came in and turned the Big Ten into this runaway machine. And now he's kind of taking second fiddle. He doesn't want to give it up, right? You lose power, you're going to lose power. You're going to fight for it, right? Just look at any drama on TV, whatever it might be. Feels like this is his final stage, kind of say, I'm not going to go down. At least I'm not going to let my reputation go down without a fight. If I have to bring my league with me, I'm going to see how many of them are for me. I think he found out, even though they didn't vote, that he doesn't have the support that maybe he once had, even in his own league.
I mean, that interpretation, I think certainly that has merit, but I think his gamble is that things will turn in another direction. And I don't know that that's going to happen. I mean, the strength of the Big Ten is apparent. And if it continues in this direction, it will not be in the SEC's favor.
And I appreciate you. We talk about lack of self-awareness all the time. I appreciate the ACC and the Big 12 having the awareness to say, you know what, we are not in a position of financial strength, especially with TV contracts. The ACC is getting ready to fall to dead last. When this circles back through after 2026 and this first Big 12 new deal kicks in, the ACC is going to be $20 to $25 million in last place just in TV rights, media rights revenue, just alone. So they recognize, look, we know we need the assistance. I like that. They try to create their own, Big 12 in particular is doing all these private business ventures and these partnerships because they know they have to try to survive. I appreciate that approach more than this whole, trying to stand up and pretend like things are exactly the same because we want them to be, right. I like it, so.
I agree. I mean, I don't think denial is a good strategy in general ever with any organization when there's change happening all around you and you're just standing fast and denying that the climate's changing daily. That is never a good strategy. And it is concerning to me personally, but I think with all the uncertainty happening, I mean, there's probably a very small percentage things could swing in such a way that the SEC would come back out on top in it. But I personally, I don't see that happening.
It really doesn't feel like it. And it's hard to believe we're there. But yeah, they have lost their power, their ultimate power. And he kept pontificating, well, we're still a super league. Look at our league. And he was trying to say these things, but then you go, when's your last football title? How have you done in the postseason the last 3 years? What do you have to say to support it? He does have TV ratings. He's got that.
And the cultural
no doubt people are. Right.
I think culturally, and again, I'm super biased. I'm confessing that up front. But I think culturally, the SEC football it catches the eye of the public. It catches the favor of the public, and it's more important culturally to the entire nation. And I think I can back that by saying, all these students are coming from the Northeast part of the United States. They want to come to the SEC schools. The numbers are exploding there, although it's starting to taper just a little bit. But, I think culturally they still have a lot of power there. But, the other facts point towards a different direction, towards the Big Ten.
Agreed. Tony Petitti's got a great. That's why he was hired in that league. He was so successful before, and now he's come in and he's turning it on its ear, and he's done it in a very short amount of time. He's got a background that Greg Sankey didn't have, and I think that's something else that Sankey probably envies just a little bit. But they don't seem to be stopping anytime soon. And if there is a breakaway, and I still believe there will be a breakaway of about 60 teams. I don't know how it's going to look exactly. I've seen models that make a lot of sense, 18 divisions within it, whatever it's called, and it's going to be the main college football arm, and they'll create their own championship again. It'll be the thing in college sports. It may also help the lower levels. It's going to help them create their own thing too, that might even still be NCAA recognized at that point. But just a connection here. There we go. Let's get Jen back too. We had a little blip in the machine there. You good now?
Is it me or you? I don't think it's me, but I could be wrong.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
It's here. The studio's been funky all day. We've gotten toward the end now. We're okay, but no, it's been kind of strange here all day. So, but we're good now.
Okay.
But in any event, it's a mess, and the mess continues. Morris says, Jen, I hear through the grapevine that many of the gals in Christiansburg are now wearing Cox hats.
I mean, is that a bad thing? No.
I'm just thinking. No, he's just making an observation based on what he's heard. That's all. He's just sharing word of mouth. Yeah.
I mean, I sweep through there with my propaganda campaign. I bring up merchandise, drop it off with willing participants. I do what I can while I'm up there. So maybe my campaign is working.
Apparently you had an impact. Apparently you had a pretty strong impact. So
I want to be an influencer in my hometown. I like that. Speaking of influencer, well, I just want to say Mike's piece that he wrote today and read with you was stunningly amazing in every possible way. In fact, I was giggling to myself. I was like, oh, great. I get to go on after that. And I've written nothing and done nothing. I'm just standing in my condo. So, I mean, Mike is just so crazy talented, and what an amazing guest for you to have. I feel like I should juggle or something, or play the saxophone. But
yeah, that'd be great. But just an idea. Maybe that whole playing of the saxophone thing might just actually be the thing. Yeah,
that's the only way I can compete with Mike, or try to.
Mike he's one of the most talented people I've ever known.
And kind of so sweet too, just the best.
And everything you're saying, and not only that, he's one of the best people I've ever.
Yes.
There's few people you see in your life that you generally love. And I love Mike Ashley.
He's so easy to love.
You never see Mike Ashley. I don't know any of the people in my life where I see somebody, and the first thing I do is get this gaudy smile I can't control off my face. There's Mike. It's just
he's a lot of what's good in the world. He reflects everything that's good and positive, and I love his pride of Radford. When I was working at Radford, first met him, he was so sweet to me, invited me to Taco Inn with the crew. And I think I was probably 24, 25, still figuring things out at Radford. And he was really, really wonderful to me. I always be grateful to know him.
Brandon says Jen's the Gamecock merch supplier of Southwest Virginia. Congratulations.
That is true, man. I'm bringing like loads of that stuff up every time, giving it out. So if any of y'all want a little bit, let me know your size, interest. Soon we're going to be a Nike school, and I'm very excited about the new Nike gear coming out, and I'd be happy to share some of that joy with you.
What are y'all now?
We are currently Under Armour and have been for many years.
Don't get too excited about the Nike thing.
I shouldn't. Why?
No, because Radford's a Nike school.
Oh, and you're not revved.
Yeah, they're not easy to deal with, and their products aren't what the coaches are wanting.
Well, I will say this: the Under Armour stuff I think is pretty fashionable for people our age and kind of like hip for people of our era, but I don't think the young peeps like it. It's not good for recruitment.
No, I get it. The name, it's based totally on name, but everything that's made from them is so, it's shipped off. It's done in Asia, and it's just not, and orders are tough to get. It's been a interesting education dealing with Nike.
Well, I hear too, from inside sources that the shoe wear with Under Armour was always a big issue and not amazing. So maybe will the Nike shoe wear at least be better for performance of athletes? Because
probably, I haven't heard much in shoe drop off, but the apparel, the stuff is.
Okay, well.
But hey, like you said,
are you trying to be a buzzkill for me? Because I was really excited about that.
No, I'm just trying to. Once you start getting gear and you're like looking at it after a couple of wears and you're going, what happened here? I'm just trying to prepare you. That's all. I don't want you to be surprised, Jen. That's all.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Sure. You made an impact, Morris says. All moms in Southwest Virginia took a great gasp.
Well, we have such beautiful colors. They're very flattering, fun.
Well, I mean, you can wear black whenever you want because, by God, it's a school
That's
color.
right. We have the Beamer tie-in, so it's good for people from home. At least, for now, he's still there. I know you're going to say something snarky in 5 seconds or less.
That's just crazy talk.
But I think it's a good choice as a second team to cheer for the Hokie fans. So that's my nomination.
You think that happens? You think they're sitting around and going, yeah, I love me some South Carolina football. After the Tech game, let's go home and watch.
Could happen. You could do the same, but you usually send me things like, look, here they go. They're getting ready to choke. And then it actually happens. And then I'm sitting at home watching it and like, oh.
I think best way to say it, he has obviously the name because he's the son, but I don't think it's anything like what his dad created here. Does that make sense? You can be related. It doesn't mean you're the same.
Well, yes, that's fair. And it's a different program, different conference. There are a lot of differences in it.
In a different era. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Just talking personality.
Well, I'm hearing good buzz from camp for what it's worth.
Really? Like what?
But of course, does anybody ever come out and say we're having a terrible camp? Look awful.
That would be refreshing. You know who did kind of say that? James Franklin last Thursday.
Did he?
Yeah, were you here last Thursday? Yeah, you were here last Thursday. I got to meet James Franklin. Were you here? You were on. Yeah, you were on.
On Friday last week? I talked to you Friday, but I've been wrapped up in social stuff, so I didn't see the James Franklin thing.
Well, everybody was all excited about the roster, right? Everybody's looking. He goes, guys, we're not a football team. I mean, I like that. He goes, we got so much work to do. We don't even know. We don't know who's our football players yet. And I thought, to me, I'm sitting there going, that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear this. Well, I tell you what, we are really excited about what we've got here. We think I want to hear. We got to roll our sleep. We got to work our butts off in the summer. We're not even close to being. He's what he said. And to me, I'm like, all right, that's good. I like that.
I like
you like the
that.
progress.
I agree. Yeah, that's refreshing. To me, that reminds me of Spurrier because he would always talk about stuff like that.
Well, the thing about he was saying it, and the one thing, and I wasn't with him, but for 40 minutes. So I'm not saying all of a sudden me and James are like calling every day. But I'm just saying I could tell that he wasn't saying that part. And I know he does a lot of things. He's very good at working a crowd and being the PR guy. But that was the football coach of him. I could tell the difference. I don't know how to explain it, but because he started getting into the boom, we don't have that, we got to do that, and then when they start getting into that, they're no longer talking to a group of business people. They're just talking to, like he's talking to his football team about what they need to do. He kind of put himself in it. So I knew at that point, okay, that's the mindset that I'm looking for. Improvements have been made. I think they're going to have much better roster, and I think they got a good shot. I'm looking forward to this team. I'm very excited about Grunkenmeyer. But when he says about development, I'm thinking it's the same things I'm thinking. He doesn't like the offensive line. I don't think he likes the defense right now. And I think those things have to be worked on because Bud Foster kind of highlighted that at the Blacksburg Sports Club a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, it's always great to visit with you as we've run out of time here on a Friday.
Okay. I'm happy to be at home. I'm happy to see you and be here doing it from here. I should be here throughout June with one exception. I've got to go up to Garner Webb again. Remember that trip?
Yeah. Boiling Springs. You and Boiling Springs.
Yeah. I go up there for Carolina Crown, the drum corps that I work with. We have a board of directors meeting up there while we finish our camp there. But I should be here the rest of the month.
All right. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. I will not be here next week. No shows next week. And then I'll be back.
No, I didn't know that. Where are you going?
Next week's my honeymoon.
I was just going to ask you if something related to that. Are you
get married? Tomorrow's the wedding.
Okay,
Tomorrow.
I was just going to ask you. Okay. Yeah. Well, congratulations to you and Janet.
Thank you very much. Yeah, here in the backyard. I keep pointing like people know where my backyard is. Right back here in my backyard.
That's great. I've heard such good things about her. I know Will is a big fan of hers too.
Yeah, she's a good girl. You'll like her. She already likes you. So.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, they always say if the second one you pick a cooler, more fun chick. Is that true? To you at least? Like I've always heard like all the married dudes I talk with, they're like, yeah, number 2 was the one like they thought like they married the one that they like publicly would be like the wife and everything. Correct. And they're like, now I'm married somebody who's like truly my friend and is really fun and cool and different kind of choice for the.
Well, she's Cajun, so there's a lot of fire. Yeah, there's a lot of fiery blood in that frame. So yeah. So it keeps you on your toes.
Okay, well that's good.
Louisiana gal. She was raised an SEC gal, so there you go. You already have something in common. She was an LSU fan from the time she was.
Going to ask. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm excited for you. Are you going to put pictures out on the social media so we can all see?
Yeah. Now that I got them back, I got hacked. You were around for all that, weren't you? Facebook and all that crap. So I've been slowly trying. Yeah, I will. I just hate to see. It sucks that I lost the. It really sucks. I lost the show Facebook. That was 3,000.
Well, quick question: did you do the what do they call it? The double layer of confirmation that it's you. Why can't I remember what that's called?
Yeah.
Had you had that set up?
Yeah, I thought I did.
Okay. Well, everybody check on that.
Well, this happened through Meta Business. I did get a better explanation as to what happened.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry it happened. And everybody needs to re-add you apparently. And
go find the Big Dog Facebook page. It's legit. If you get an invite, there's nobody trying to do anything. That's me trying to build it back like I did before. We built it once. We'll build it again.
I'll talk it up with some of my friends here. Although I told you when you talk crap about Beamer and the Gamecocks, my friends here do not. They're not fans of that. So
I think they're just making stuff up. That never happens.
You always talk about Beamer's bald spot. Do I need to remind you of that?
I wonder how much bigger it's going to be this year. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Your rudeness.
I'm just telling you, and you admitted it. If he just went ahead and committed to it and got rid of it,
Well,
everybody be like,
I think you should just shave his head. I have said that, but I always think that when men lose their hair, I think it's a much more confident, attractive approach is just do that. Don't fly to Turkey. Don't get the fake plugs or whatever. Just shave your head.
No turkey. We don't need any of the turkey.
Don't go to Turkey.
All right. Be a good girl. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Happy wedding. Enjoy.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll have stuff up.
Okay.
We'll have stuff up. Yeah. I don't know what it'll look like. And like I said, hopefully I don't get hacked before then. But yeah, there'll be some stuff up.
You could have hired me to play sax in your wedding, but whatever. I
thought about it, and then I figured it'd be like, oh, just can't get this mouthpiece right. We're all standing out in the yard waiting for you to start.
I would have gotten you. I would have taken care of you. Whatever. That's fine.
I almost say, well, next time. Oh, wait a minute. Hopefully there won't be a next time. But yeah.
No, you're done. This is it.
This is it. This is it. All right. Be a good girl. You stay safe, and we'll see you here soon. All right.
Have fun. Love you.
Thank you. Loves you. Be good. There you go. Jen the Gamecock girl joining us. Thanks to everybody. Great stuff. Thanks, Jason Tickle. Jambalaya forever. Great week. Thanks to all of our guests. Fun stuff here today. Thanks to Will Stewart, Mike Ashley, and Jen. Thanks to you. We will have programming next week. I'm going to try to load up 5 shows, 1 for each day. I don't know what they'll look like yet. So if you get bored and you want to go back and watch something, I will have shows up during this time slot. They'll be identified as best of. So, yeah, we'll have shows going, but I will not be here. Honeymoon next week. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to all the well wishes. Morris, again, I can't thank you enough for your generosity. And hey, man, I'll be a taken individual tomorrow. Everybody take care. Enjoy your weekend, and we will talk to you. I am going, by the way, there will be some random things that'll pop up on the channel from the honeymoon where we travel and some of the scenic stuff. I'm going to do that for fun. I'm just going to have the phone, and I'm going to do some stuff. So there will be some stuff to update you as we go along. So I think that'll be fun. But in terms of show, there will be shows up. It honors the sponsors. They, everything will flow and all that. So, all right, everybody take care. Appreciate you. We'll see you in 2 weeks.